In this quick tip, I'm going to show you 3 ways to use loops creatively in your music. So for the demo, I have Audiotent Mutant downloaded, and it's the very first addition to our modular series. All of the sounds you'll hear are made entirely from the Mutable Instruments Platts macro oscillator and processed in our modular setup. So for the first tip, I'm going to take an arpeggio from our arpeggio loops folder, use loop number 1, and we're going to create a different groove by using a gate on the arpeggio and a MIDI track triggering the gate. There are some other processing that I'm going to do as well. So first of all, let's just have a quick listen to the original source arpeggio. So it sounds fantastic as it is, but I'd like to create a new groove with an already strong source sound. So the first thing I've done is I've created a MIDI track, which is going to be our trigger, and I've programmed in some MIDI notes. Now the next thing I've done is I've loaded a gate onto that channel and activated sidechain. We're going to take sidechain input from the MIDI trigger. And you can see here it's got audio from the MIDI trigger. Now, if you have a listen to the arpeggio, you'll hear that it sounds considerably different all of a sudden. We've imposed a new groove onto it. That's one type of groove. I've also composed a second groove which is a little bit more sparse and creates a different rhythm. Now things really come alive when you add a delay. So the delay is going to add even more rhythmical content to the groove. So that was a very quick and easy way to create a completely different rhythm and feel from using one of our arpeggiator loops. And I haven't even touched, edited or altered the audio source file. So the second technique, we're going to reposition some audio. So I've pulled a loop in from our percussion loops folder. There are 27 loops here. And I'll play the loop very quickly. And a really quick way to make this loop our own is to cut it up and rearrange it. So with a few simple clicks and rearranging some of the hits, we can create a fresh loop and groove of our own. The second thing we can do here is we can right click on the audio, select slice to new MIDI track. We can create a slice per transient, so that's for each individual hit. Select OK. Now it's going to create a slice per hit in the rack here. We can apply effects to each individual slice if we wanted to. And it's also created a MIDI file with a MIDI note on every slice. We can then use this MIDI file to start rearranging the loop. we find a portion of the edited loop that we like, we can then loop that ourselves and create a fresh groove. So the third way that we can use loops creatively in our tracks is we can use them to create impact and transition effects. So I have a percussive loop here from our percussive loops folder. Let's just have a quick listen. And you can take any of the hits from this loop and turn them into your impact or transition effect. I like the very first hit. Okay, so what I've done is I've first of all loaded in an EQ8 to narrow some of the frequencies that we're going to hear in our new impact or transition effect. So I've done some bandpass EQing. This is so it sounds less noisy and a little darker. Next, we're going to apply a large reverb. So we've got a nice decent decay time. I've put the mix to full. And I've also added some modulation here as well, just to colour the sound. So now let's have a listen. Another thing we can do with our impact effect is create a reverse reverb riser. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to consolidate the initial hit by pressing Command and J or Control J on my keyboard. And then I'm going to reverse that sound by pressing R on my keyboard. Next, I'm going to export the audio of the hit played in reverse with the reverb on it. I can now bring that export back into the project and hit R on my keyboard again to reverse it. What you may want to do is trim the audio file so that you cut off at the peak of the transient. And then line it up to create your reverse reverb effect. The final piece of the puzzle is to add some reverb. So I'll add a Valhalla vintage reverb. We're going to have a long decay time. I'm not going to put the mix up full, but it's up to you how much wet signal you include. I'm going to have some modulation on this sound as well. Now, if we play it back, we'll have a nice reverse reverb. Let's have a listen. That was 3 different ways to use loops creatively in your projects. I hope you found these tips useful. Please let us know if you did in the comments below with a yes or no. Thanks for watching.